Good morning, Craig here, February 9. A bit of a change of scene this morning. I'm sitting in a different part of the yard because it's nice and cool, and I wasn't writing in the shed, I was writing in the house this morning. And it was a good session, really nice writing session actually. I'm in a finished act 3.1, which was excellent. That's the goal for the day. But one of the things that came out of the session was that I was, as I was writing, I came to a particular scene and I thought, I'm not sure, again, if there's enough content here for this particular scene. And then as I was thinking about it, it sort of came to me what the particular aesthetic could be that describes the scene, and it combines, I mean, it's nothing new, but it just for me in terms of knowing how the book is going to feel and what might happen in a section where, so I guess the thing is, in this particular scene, there's a lot happening on a big scale, but the characters are sort of, they're observing it rather than being part of it. And so my description for it was not big. It was just basically, this is happening and that's happening and they're watching it. And I thought, well, is that enough for, I'm just trying to think how, I mean, I guess 650 words was what I was thinking, which is not huge, but still, it's a sizable chunk of text if you don't have a lot to say. And I thought, I mean, what I would love to read there and what I want to write is this blend of sort of Don Delillo's prologue from Underworld, Pavco at the Wall, where it's this big cinematic multi-camera perspective of what's going on on the baseball field, and I mean, well, the getting into the baseball stadium, and just that idea of pockets of different scenes and vignettes that you're seeing at different points. I thought that's, I mean, it's such a beautiful way of writing. Part of it will hopefully be that, being able to capture that aesthetic, and the other half will be, not aiming too high, will be this sort of Pynchonian, you know, surrealism that's part of that, where it's not just that there's all these things happening, but there is little vignettes that are balancing between real and surreal. You know, like a fireman trying to sort of coax, you know, a bit of an anxious fire truck to, you know, get down off its hind wheels and, you know, put the hose in the right direction. We need to put out this fire. Those little things that you think, what's that? Or is that happening on that precipice of, it's a mid-reel things, you know, it's something that's a part of that Pavco at the Wall, Don DeLillo underworld scene, but it's got that Pynchonian flavour to it. And I thought, well, I mean, 650 words of that is beautiful. Like, if I can capture that, and for that to be a particular you know, tone and colour that runs throughout the book, I mean, that's really what I'm going for in that respect. But it was a lovely thing to identify it this morning, because while I've been thinking so much about the action and the characters and does it all make sense, is the narrative going in the right direction, it was nice this morning to think the actual colour and all those little seasonings that you know, you want to pepper the prose with, and also pepper the sense of reality with. Those are things that really are going to take hold once the prose gets written. I mean, I could be micromanaging those things now and saying there needs to be a surreal fireman, you know, scene here, but I think it feels like it's best left up to the spontaneity of the moment, and one thing connecting to another, and writing one thing and thinking, oh, wouldn't it be great if something from the side street came down and happened now? And because of the weather, wouldn't it be interesting if this happened? You know, those things are things that I'm going to be able to be creating as I go, instead of, I mean, this feels more structural and the content is there on a really fine level. I mean, I'm doing it in lots of 222 words, but I think there's still something best left up to chance for the pros to come up with some of those finer vignettes as they come along, which is good. And you can see a big part of my thinking through this phase 4 is all about the balance of how much of it is planned and how much do we plan before we put the words down, and how much do we actually leave up to the spontaneous creativity that comes when the actual prose is being written. And I'm always thinking about that because I'm treating this outline process very seriously, and I don't want to get to prose and think, well, I wasted a whole month just moving words around in part of this phase 4 outline planning, rather than actually spending deep-seated time within each micro scene and figuring all the details out. But I think, like I've been saying in other videos, it's got to be a balance, and there's got to be some things you leave up to chance, and the rest of it I am preparing now in pretty significant ways. So I'm happy with that, and I'm excited about, like I said, those aesthetic colours that I'm thinking will come into play. Now it's just a matter of writing well enough to make it all happen. But me, I'll be hiccuping at the end of a lot of these videos lately. Anyway, that's it for today. Hope you have a good day, and I will be back for Act 3.2 tomorrow morning. I'll see you then.